Okay, good evening. We are starting our class now. Last week, we were looking at absorption costing and ABC. Actually, particularly, we are looking at ABC, activity-based costing, and we started answering an exam type question. We answered the first part, and we're supposed to complete the second and the third part today. But before we move to continue with our question, I want to know whether you have any questions or any comments you want to make on what we have done so far. Okay. If you have any questions, please let me know before we continue. I want us to have a shorter class today, so that latest 5 o'clock. If we are fast, we can even finish before 5. But in case we are not able to finish, we can go latest 5 o'clock and call it off, because today is the last Friday and last Friday of Ramadan, and I'm sure a lot of people are trying to get prepared for the Korite. I know Mr. Kor, the Nyominkas they've already started crushing. They will soon fill Banjul up with Korite preparations and stuff. So for us, we are still in Ramadan mood, okay? Where are the Nyominkas? You agree with me?
Partly agree.
Partly. Partly, okay. At least I have some percentage, so I'm fine.
They are the one who are supplying you the fees. So if you just try to mock us, you will not have fees there.
You supply. Now they've taken the fish market from you. Before you used to, but then you used to come to the village, with your smoked fish, with your with your tilapia and stuff like that. But now you don't. All the Nyomikas are civilized. They are in the combos. They don't even know how to do fishing. Okay, so yes. Any questions, please? We were looking at this question last week, okay, and then we answer the first part, which was A1. So we're going to look at A2, which is the ABC part, okay. So I know you definitely understand the difference between marginal costing, absorption costing, and of course the difference between absorption costing and activity-based costing now, isn't it? So if you're going to summarize, what will be the difference? What will be the main difference between activity-based costing and absorption costing? What will be the main difference? Yeah? I guess by now you should be experts, maybe not in ABC, but at least in absorption costing. Okay. Last week I think it was the second question we attempted on absorption costing, the first part of this question. The second part will be ABC. I know we've not answered a question on ABC yet, but we should be experts in absorption costing now, isn't it? Hadi Job, is that the case? Are you an expert? Hadi has gone away. Usman? Are you an expert in absorption costing now? Usman Jai? Your mic is on. I hope you are with us.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes. So tell
Yeah,
us what is the main difference between absorption costing and ABC? Yes, Usman, we are waiting.
the network, I'm not getting you.
You are not getting me.
Yes, I'm getting you now very well.
Yes. Can you tell us one main difference between absorption costing and ABC? Usman, can you
And
hear me now?
absorption costing and marginal costing.
No, absorption
Hello?
costing and activity-based costing. Hello?
Yes, under the absorption costing, you cost a product.
Your network is not good. Your network is not good.
Products.
You're breaking. You're breaking. You're not getting it right. Can someone try, please? What's the main difference between absorption costing and activity-based costing?
Yes.
Yes,
Let me
Yusufa.
try and see.
Yes, Yusufa, go ahead.
Absorption costing assign cost of individual units, whilst the activity-based costing, that's the ABC, focus on the company activities as a central cost, and then to assess the indirect cost per unit there.
Oh, okay. Okay, let me make it clear. Activity-based costing, like I said, is an improvement on absorption costing. Okay, so it's the same concept of costing that ABC uses, but it has modernized it sort of. So in other words, the main difference between absorption costing and activity-based costing is that activity-based costing usually use only one overhead absorption rate or a few absorption over or a few overhead absorption rates compared to activity-based costing, whereby in activity-based costing, the overhead absorption rates is not called overhead absorption rates in activity-based costing. Please take note. It is called what? What is it called? What's the equivalent called in ABC?
Allocation rate.
No, cost driver rate. Okay, cost driver rate. So cost driver rate is similar to overhead absorption rate. Very similar, and it does the same work. In absorption costing, you usually have one OAR or FOAR or a few OAR in case there are departments. Like we've seen on the first question, you calculate the OAR for department X and you calculated the OAR for department Y. Okay, but in ABC, overheads are absorbed, overheads are apportioned between products or services using various cost driver rates. And those cost driver rates are based on activities. Okay, so you look at the fixed overhead of a particular activity, and then you calculate the cost driver rate for that activity, and then you absorb. Okay? So that's the main difference between the two. Okay, is that clear? Any questions or clarification you want to make? Okay, so we're going to go to our question. Last week we were looking at, this question. Of course, like I said, we've answered the first part. So make sure you have your question before you, just like I said to you last week. Somebody has already screenshot the question and it was on the forum. So if I haven't got one, please make sure you lay hands on one, okay? We're going to make a reference to it. So the first part was what? Calculating the unit cost of products X, Y, and Z using absorption costing technique. Okay, so this is what we have done last week. We calculated the unit cost for direct material, direct labor, and we had our prime cost, and we calculated our fixed production overheads. Okay, our fixed production overhead was based on 1 OAR, okay, which is the 18.75. Okay, we know how to calculate that. So first we calculate the we calculate the hours. You know, we know labor hours is the activity level, so we calculate the total hours for each product, and then we add them all. So we have our total hours. Okay, and then the overheads, of course, have been given for 3 different activities. So you add those together, you have a total overhead of 48,750 divided by 2,600, and you have a budgeted overhead absorption rate of 18.75. And then when we come here, we apply it here. So we take the 18.75 multiplied by our actual, our actual activity. Okay, so week is our labor hours in unit. Okay, just like we have here. Is that clear, everybody? So we're going to move.
Yes.
Are you getting me? Yes, Usman.
Yes. Your screen. Can you say I do screen, please?
I've shared the screen for the spreadsheet. You cannot see it?
Hello,
Okay,
Usman.
yes.
What you need to do, Mr. Fofana will appear twice. The other one, where you see a kind of, like a square sort of, just pin on that one. You'll be able to have access to the share screen.
Yes, exactly. Okay, are you okay, Usman?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Okay. So we're going to go to the second part of the question, which is A2. So A2 is prepare a summary which shows the budgeted product cost per unit for each product of X, Y, and Z for the period ending 31st December 2010, detailing the unit cost for each cost element using an approach which recognizes the cost drivers related in activity-based costing investigation. So that means this part is asking for a unit cost using ABC costing technique. Okay? So what do we do? Let's make reference to the question. The question gave us overheads for 3 different activities. If you look on top of your question, the first table, which has got material receipt and inspection cost, power cost, material handling cost, and stuff like that. So those material receipt and inspection costs, these are costs related to activities. So the 15,600 is an overhead cost that relates to material receipt and inspection as an activity, and the 19,500 relates to power. Okay, and the third one, material handling cost, 13,650. So these are the 3 activities where we're supposed to use to absorb our overhead. So these are the activities we're going to use to absorb this fixed overhead into the various products. Okay, so, right. So what do? We look at the components of each of the activities. Okay, so when you come down to the second table, it says that the following budgeted information has been obtained for the period ending 31st December 2009. Product X, product Y, product Z. Okay, so the production quantities have been given. The badges of material are 10, 5, and 16. Then the data per product unit. You have direct materials in square meters, direct material in unit cost, direct labor in minutes, number of power drill operations. Okay, so when you go down further, it says overhead costs for material receipt and inspection, process power and material handling are presently each absorbed by product units using rates per direct labor hour. Okay, so that's the current technique. This is why on the first part, we have done exactly that. We have absorbed the total overheads of 48,750 based on one overhead absorption rate, which is based on labor hour. Sorry, which is based on direct labor hour. Okay? So this time around, they don't want us to do that, but they want us to absorb based on the activities. Okay? So it continues. An activity-based costing investigation has revealed that the cost drivers for the overheads are as follows. The first overhead we have on top is material receipt and inspection. The cost driver is number of badges of material. We all know what cost driver is, isn't it? Cost driver, we looked at it last week, and we all agreed that it is the factor that determines the size of the cost. Okay? So the process power has an activity. The number of power drill operations is the cost driver. Material handling, the quantity of material in square meters handled is the cost driver. So we are going to use the cost drivers on the activities to apportion the fixed overheads that are on top. Simple. That's what we're going to do under ABC. Is that clear? So we need to go to our working and calculate our cost driver rate. We need to go to our working and we calculate our cost driver rate. What is cost driver rate? Equivalent in absorption costing? What's the equivalence of cost driver rate in absorption costing?
The OAR.
The OAR, excellent. The OAR, excellent. So this time around, how many OARs are we going to calculate, or how many cost driver rates are we going to calculate? How many OARs are we going to calculate, or how many?
Calculate for X, Y, and Z.
It's three.
Okay, based on what? X, Y, and Z? It's 3, it's correct. But based on what?
That's why is that
Based on X, Y, and Z.
Not the X, Y, and Z. It's those cost drivers, like the square meter and the other.
No. We are calculating our cost driver rates based on what?
Number of batches.
Level of activities.
Based on activities. Simple. Based on activities. We have 3 activities. The 3 activities are the ones that have got fixed costs attached to them. So what we want to do is we want to share those fixed costs among the various products that benefited from it. Okay, that's product X, Y, and Z. But what we are apportioning is the fixed cost relating to activities. So that's why we are going to calculate 3 different cost driver rates. or 3 different OARs. Please, in exams, don't call it OAR. I'm just saying OAR just to consolidate your understanding. Okay? So let's go to our working. Let's go to our working. We're going to continue from down here. So I'll call it working 3. Okay, working 3. So we're going to do our workings. Our workings purposely will be to calculate our cost driver rates. Okay, but before we calculate our cost driver rates, we must first find our total cost drivers. Okay, so cost driver calculation. So we do our cost driver calculations, and after finding our cost driver calculation, after finding our total cost drivers for each of the product, then we find the rate, cost driver rate. And just like we have how we calculated our OAR, what will be the formula for calculating our cost driver rate? What will be the formula for calculating our cost driver rate? What's the formula for calculating our OAR? Just to refresh your mind. What's the formula? Can you remember? How do we calculate our OAR or our FOAR?
Yes.
Yes,
So,
Ibrahim? Yes, Ibrahim.
Total overheads divided by total level of activity.
Exactly. Total fixed overhead. Excellent. Yes. Yes. So it is either total or budgeted overheads divided by the total or the budgeted activity level. And in our question, the question we did last week, what was our activity level? What was our activity level?
Labor hours.
It was labor hours. Excellent. Good. So now, having that at the back of your mind, what would be the formula for calculating our cost driver rates? Yes. So what will be the formula for calculating our cost driver rate? The same way. Okay. So you apply the same knowledge. So simply, it is the total overheads for each activity divided by the total cost driver for that activity. Okay. So the total budgeted overheads or the total overheads for each activity divided by the total cost driver for that activity. So that will give you a cost driver rate. And then you apply. Simple. So in other words, absorption costing is very, very, very similar to ABC. Okay, so what is our first what's our first cost driver that we need to calculate? The one that first came on our question is what? Badges of material, isn't it? And badges of material, we know that it is for an activity called material receipt and inspection. Is that clear, everybody? Is that clear, everybody? Hello, are you with me?
Mr. Pavana, can you repeat
Yes.
that, please?
Sorry?
Can you kindly repeat that, please?
Yes. What I was saying is we are trying to calculate our cost driver rate. Before we calculate our cost driver rates, we want to first calculate our total cost drivers, because we all agreed to arrive at our cost driver rate, which is similar to our OAR. We look at the budgeted overheads for the activity divided by the total cost driver for that activity. Okay? So it's just the same as the total overheads when we are looking at absorption cost, the total overheads divided by the activity level, the total activity level. The same thing here. Okay? So now let's calculate our cost drivers, please. So we have for product X, Y, and Z. Okay, product X, Y, and Z. So the first one we have is what? What's the first cost driver? The first cost driver for the first activity is what? The activity is material receipt and inspection costs. What's the cost driver for that?
Number of batches.
Number of batches. Okay, so we have our number of batches of material. Okay, just say number of batches. Okay, so what's our number of batch for each of the product? For X is how much?
10.
10. For Y, it's 5, and then 16, is it?
16.
Good. So let's find our total. I just put total here. Okay, so the total, we're going to put our sum function here. Okay, we're going to put a sum function here. Let me see who can help me. Just hold on, I have to choose someone. Right. Hadigay, can you give us the formula that we need to put here to calculate our total batches of material? What formula do we put on the G19? Hadi?
We put equals sum.
We put equals?
Some bracket open.
Equal bracket open?
Yes, and then D19.
I type B19.
D19.
B19.
Colon, or you click on D19, then drag it to F19.
Sorry, did you say B19 or D19?
D.
D19, okay. D19, then you click on colon.
Yes, and then A19 and F19.
And we have F19.
Yeah, then bracket close, then enter.
Bracket close, enter. Is that correct? Adi, is that correct?
I said, oh, you put on this one, D19, then click the arrow there, drag it to F19.
Yes, if you do that, it gives you the same thing. Is there any problem with the formula, class?
Yes, there is no sum.
There is no sum. Hadi, don't forget this thing, so you didn't put any sum there. So you made the system
I
confused.
told you equal to sum, open bracket. I mean, I can't, that's why.
Oh, okay. Maybe I didn't hear you.
Sum,
I'm sorry about that. Maybe I didn't hear you properly, Hadi. Sorry. Oh, you said equal sum. Okay, fine. Bracket open. Okay, correct. Okay, that's correct. Thank you. I didn't hear your sum. So it should be equal sum D19 to F19. Correct. So that gives us 31. Thank you. Thank you, Hadi. What is the next one? The next cost is power cost. What's the cost driver for power cost?
Number of power drills.
Number of power drills. Okay. Number of power drills. Right. So the number of power drills. So we're going to calculate the total number of power drills. Number of power drills. Okay. So what are the total number of power drills?
6 for X.
We have the unit. We have the unit. The unit is 6. 3.
3 and 2.
And 2. Okay, excellent. Then, in order to have the total, what do we do? In order to have the total, what do we do? We know that we multiply it by their respective units. Okay, simple. So we have our units on top here. Okay, we have our units on top here. It's not aligning when you look at the columns, but it doesn't matter. So our units are here from C4 to E4. Okay, can someone give me the formula to calculate? Can someone give me the formula to calculate? Let me make it 100%. Okay, to calculate our total units here. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Fofana.
Yes, Usman, you want to try?
Yes. Equals to sum.
Equals sum. Are we finding a sum, or what are we finding? We all agreed that
it is the one we often. Yes, it is the one we often use here.
No, we want to find the total units. We know that the units are how to call it, the number of power drills for each of them is 6 per unit, 3 per unit, and 2 per unit. So if we want to find the total, what do we do?
We multiply.
We multiply, exactly. So the formula I want should be multiplication. Well, let's move fast. So what do we put here?
Equals to
Equals
C4. So you click
C4, correct?
Multiply.
Multiply, and the multiplication sign is just the star on top of 8. So in order to get the multiplication sign, you press Shift under 8. Is that clear, everyone?
Yes.
Okay.
And D21.
Then I click on the D20, actually, D20.
20, okay.
We enter, and then we replicate. Okay, we just copy, drag. Okay, so we have 12,000 power drills for X, 4,500 power drills for Y, 1,600 power drills for Z. And what will be our total power drills? Our total power, we don't have to do any formula. We already have a formula for the total that calculates the total across. So we can just copy that formula and then paste. Copy, and then we come here and we paste. Okay, so that gives us a total of 18,100 power drills. Okay, so far so good. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Happy? Shall we move? I want all of you to understand. I want all of you to understand. Okay, by the way, I would like to inform you, this semester actually I have some time. So I'll be doing some videos on spreadsheets, on either Excel or on Google Sheet. Then I'll be posting them on the forum and then also on YouTube. So if you, at your free time, you can watch them, because during class we cannot be able to do everything, but at your free time you can watch them, yeah, and try to practice them. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, I find it useful. Huh?
Okay, excellent. Yes, I will try to do that. This time around I'm a lot more free, so I'll try to do as much as I can. Right. So we go to the next one. The next one is the material handling cost. The material handling cost. What's the cost driver for it? What's the cost driver? What's the cost driver?
Quantity of material.
The quantity of material in square meter.
Quantity of material.
Okay, excellent. So we will do the same thing for that one as well. Quantity of material. Material, let's say QTY. Okay, material quantity. So that one also will find the units and will find the total. So I just copy units and total and paste it here. Simple. Okay, so what are the units in square meters? What's the first one? For X. What's the first one for X? Refer to your question.
X is 4, Y is 6, and Z 3.
Okay, so it's 4, 6, and 3. 4, 6, and 3. It's 4, 6, and 3. So we do the same thing. We do the same thing. So we apply our formula. So we all know how to do that. So we just click on the 4 and we multiply it by our units on top. We have 8,000 for X, and then we just replicate. Okay, so when we replicate, we have 8,000 meters square for X, 9,000 meters square for Y, and 2,400 meters square for Z. So what do we do to get the total? Shortcut.
Just copy the formula from the 18,100.
Okay, so any of them. We can either copy the formula on 18,100 or the formula on 31. Okay, so we just click on it and say copy, and then come here and paste. See, if you know how to do this, you see how it can save your life, and how it can save your time. Imagine if you have to write this on a book. Can you be able to copy and paste on your book? Can you be able to do that?
No.
You will not be able to.
No.
Do that. You will not be able to do that. Certainly. Okay. So now, what we have done is we have calculated our cost driver totals. We have our number of badges as 31. We have our number of drill operations as 18,100. And we have our material quantity in square meters as 19,400. Okay, is that clear? Do you know why we are calculating this?